How do you translate love?
In Finnish, the word love is rakkaus. The phrase I love you is minä rakastan sinua.
In Finland, love is used only in a romantic fashion. Among friends and family, you use words like I like you, I cherish you, you're important to me. American dating just has rules. It's kind of rigid in that sense that you have to know how many days you're supposed to wait to call somebody back or call after the first date and what you're supposed to say and what you're not supposed to say. There's things like the guy always has to pay for the first date, at least maybe several days, I don't know. But to me, that just seems wrong for the guy to pay. I'm a strong, independent Finnish woman, and we're used to taking care of ourselves. And it almost makes me feel obliged to go on a second date, whether I want to or not, just to pay the guy back. I do like chivalry, but the fact that they have to open the car door for me seems strange. So when a guy comes over to the passenger side, I automatically want to go to the driver's side and start driving the car because I'm not entirely sure what he's doing on my side of the car.
The word love is Liebe. I love you would be Ich liebe dich.
How common is the use of the phrase I love you in Germany?
It's very rare. It's mostly reserved for romantic relationships. Amongst family members, it's much more common to show love and respect through actions. You show each other that you love and support each other, that you're there for each other, but you don't necessarily verbalize it as much and as often.
Are there topics that Germans think are impolite to ask during dating?
I would say income and financial status. Religion might be something that needs to be discussed at some point. Education as well, but maybe not during the initial phase of getting to know each other. The wedding band is usually kept very simple and understated. It is usually engraved with the name and the date of the wedding once the marriage takes place. And an interesting fact is that the wedding band is used for both the engagement and the wedding. However, it's being worn on the left hand during the engagement and switched over to the right hand once the partners get married. Weddings are usually small and intimate with only immediate family members, and it is very common to get married at the courthouse versus a large wedding at a venue, unless for religious reasons people get married in church. And also with my generation and younger, it has become very common to not get married at all. Even if partners have children, they are committed to each other, they live together. Marriage is not so much a focus anymore with the younger generation.
Love in Japan, in Japanese, is ai. And to say I love you is aishiteru. Instead of having just one holiday, we actually have two holidays for Valentine's Day. There is the traditional February 14th, Valentine's Day. However, there's also one other day a month later called White Day on March 14th. On Valentine's Day, it's strictly the women who actually approach the men and give chocolates to the men. And there's actually 3 different types of chocolates that exist. And there is the true love, there is the obligation, and there's the friendship chocolate. And so it gets very complicated. On White Day, which is a month later, on March 14th, it's now the time when the men reciprocate and actually provide gifts and or chocolates to women. And on that day, men traditionally are told to provide gifts and or chocolates that are actually higher in value compared to the chocolates that they were given on Valentine's Day. On Christmas Eve, it's really more of when the couple basically plans out a date and really goes to the extent of dressing up and making it a really big deal. And so it's really more, I believe, closer to how Valentine's Day is celebrated here in the United States. And also an interesting tidbit is that in Japan, on Christmas Eve, it's very common for folks to actually buy what's called Christmas cake, which is essentially just a strawberry shortcake, but it's just themed that way. And then also fried chicken. And so KFC is quite popular on that day.
Enlace's Vice President of Sales and Marketing, Yves Lang, will wrap things up for us.
So the reason we chose the topic of love, or l'amour as we say in French, is obviously the Valentine's Day weekend. This holiday is very special in the United States, but has also grown in popularity in many regions of the world. At Enlace, we want to think of ourselves as international matchmakers. Why? Because we have helped localize and provided consulting to some of the largest online dating and social media brands like Match.com, Meetic, Date.com, FriendFinder, Cupid, MeetMe, and many others. As Lisa Hoffman said, love is like the number pi, natural, irrational, and very important. So when we commit to translating love, we need to make sure we do it right. Talk to one of our expert consultants, find us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or at www.enlace.com.